What if I told you a woman reveals her past without saying a single word? Yeah, you don't need to ask. You just need to see. Because the truth isn't in her answers, it's in her patterns. Now think about this. How many times have you wanted to know what kind of man she's been with? Was he weak? Was he dominant? Did she love him or just use him? But you hold back because you know better than to ask directly. It's needy, it's insecure, it gives away power. So instead, you sit there wondering, what kind of woman is this, really? By the end of this video, you'll know how to see into her relationship history without a single question. Just quiet observation, stoic awareness, strategic presence. Now listen carefully. This matters more than you think, because a woman's past shapes how she connects, what she expects, and what she tolerates. If she's used to chaos, she'll be addicted to drama. If she's used to power, she'll test you to see if you match it. Most men, they look for beauty, they ignore behavior, they get trapped chasing validation, not truth. You're not here to be like most men, you're here to lead, to see clearly, to control yourself and command your life. Here's the truth. Every woman leaves traces. How she reacts to silence, how she handles boundaries, how she speaks about men in her past without mentioning names. Ever notice how some women can't stop mentioning their crazy ex, or they talk about how all men are toxic? That's not just conversation, that's projection. And when you observe quietly, without reacting, you start seeing everything. You see where she's been hurt, where she's chased validation, where she's disrespected men and gotten away with it. Not to judge her, not to shame her, but to understand what you're really stepping into. This is where Stoic thinking kicks in. Detach from emotion. Study her. Let her reveal herself because see she will. And when you stop asking and start watching, you'll never chase answers again. Now get ready, because in the next part, I'll show you the exact signs that expose her past without a single word being said. Let's keep going. She tells you everything in how she reacts. Let's break this down. You're on a date. You lean back. You don't fill the silence. What does she do? If she rushes to fill the void, over-explains, or nervously talks about her ex just as a friend, that's not by accident. That's a woman who's used to overcompensating because someone made her feel disposable. Watch how she handles your calm. Does she lean in, or does she fidget? Does she test your attention, or respect your stillness? These micro moments, they're gold. Because women who've been with weak men crave control, and women who've been with strong men, they test your strength. Now imagine this. You set a boundary. You say, I don't chase, I lead. If that's a problem, we're not a match. She flinches. She pauses. She smirks, maybe even laughs. That's the test. Women who've had power over men expect emotional reactions. They expect you to fold under pressure. But when you don't, she sees a new blueprint. You're not the boy she could manipulate. You're the man who observes, decides, and walks away if needed. Remember this. A woman's patterns reveal her past more than her words. How does she respond when you take time to text back? How does she react when you say no? Is there instant guilt tripping, silent treatment, passive-aggressive jabs? These are not just emotional quirks. They're habits from old relationships, echoes of unhealed dynamics. And here's where most guys mess up. They try to fix her wounds. They try to be different than the last guy. They think if they're kind enough, patient enough, loving enough, she'll finally see their worth. That's not masculine. That's submissive. You don't heal her by coddling her. You lead by standing firm in your frame. This is Stoicism in action. Control your reactions. Resist the urge to please. Hold the mirror, not the bandage. Because the truth is, a woman doesn't need another man to fix her. She needs a man who won't lose himself in her chaos. Now get ready. Next, I'll show you the signs in her lifestyle, body language, and daily choices that whisper exactly who she's been with and what it did to her. Stay sharp. Now pay close attention, because this is where most men go blind. You want to know her past. Don't look at her words. Look at her lifestyle. What kind of friends does she keep? Are they feminine, graceful, loyal, or wild, impulsive, always chasing a party? Because women move in packs. And the women around her reflect what she normalizes. A woman who's surrounded by chaos, gossip, and endless male attention. She's not preparing for peace. She's addicted to stimulation. Now look at her habits. Does she spend her nights scrolling through attention traps, Instagram stories, half-naked selfies, girls' nights every weekend? These aren't random. They're coping mechanisms. They're breadcrumbs of validation she's been conditioned to chase. Not all women who look innocent are innocent, and not all women who look wild are broken. But every pattern has a source. Now picture this. You walk into her apartment. It's messy. Unmade bed, random guy's hoodie on the chair, empty wine bottles, half-finished skincare on the sink. You don't need to ask who she's been with. You already know. She's scattered, uncentered, emotionally overstimulated. Or maybe it's the opposite. Everything's perfect. But the energy? Cold, distant, robotic. That's a woman who's built walls. Walls from being hurt one too many times. Now, here's what separates you. You don't react. You don't label her. You observe. You decide. Because a Stoic man doesn't get pulled into her world, he stands firm in his. Now let's talk about body language. Does she maintain eye contact or avoid it when you get serious? Does she touch you too quickly, without emotional connection? Does she flinch when you get close? That's muscle memory from her past. That's trauma or manipulation echoing through her skin. You can feel when a woman's heart is guarded. You can feel when she's used to being used. Your job, not to fix, not to chase, but to recognize and respond with strength. Because attraction without awareness is weakness, and dominance without discipline is destruction. Now, in the final segment, you'll learn how to move forward once you've seen the truth. How to protect your energy, command her respect, and embody the Stoic man who never loses himself for anyone. Let's finish strong. So now you see her clearly. You've studied her reactions, watched her lifestyle, felt the echoes of her past in her silence, her movement, her presence. The question is, what do you do with this knowledge? You don't confront her. You don't expose her. You don't weaponize what you've learned. You lead with it. A Stoic man uses clarity as power, not to control, but to choose. Now listen carefully. If you sense chaos in her, test her calm. If you sense games, give her nothing to play with. If she's used to drama, introduce her to discipline. And if she respects it, she'll rise. If she resents it, she'll retreat. Either way, you win. You see, most men get it backward. They get emotionally attached before they understand the woman. They fall in love with her potential, not her patterns, and they lose themselves trying to be the exception in a story written long before they showed up. But that's not you anymore. You've learned to observe in silence, to hold your ground, to stay grounded when she's testing for weakness. You don't react. You respond with principle. This is what true masculine power looks like. Control, not confusion. Decisions, not desperation. Standards, not stories. Here's something most men will never understand. A woman wants to be read. She wants to be understood, without having to explain herself. But only by a man strong enough to hold that truth, without flinching. When you walk in full awareness, you radiate certainty. That's attractive. That's rare. That's dominant. And even if she walks away, you don't lose, because you never gave up your frame to begin with. Now, I'll leave you with this. Don't explain your philosophy. Embody it. Epictetus. Let your presence say everything. Let your restraint speak louder than your words. And never forget, the most powerful man in the room is the one who doesn't need to prove it. Stay sharp, stay grounded, stay stoic. You lead the frame, or you lose it. Your move